Welcome to episode 54 of the Face of the Future podcast. It's your boy Mills.
It's your boy Shan.
It's your boy Benson Moose. Was good. Was good. Was
What's
good.
good with y'all boys today? You know what I'm saying? Shooting a little earlier this week. How y'all been? How y'all week been so far?
Chilling, bro. Day by day.
Day by day, I feel it.
Work been stressed me the fuck out.
Why you say that? What's been going on? What's work life like been like for you over at your job?
Oh, it's not like crazy. It's just that like I just got mad shit I gotta do. Like I just want to make sure everything's done for the week. Because like I'm a claims analyst, so I basically just got to make sure all the payments are in, and I just have like a bunch of stuff that I have to make sure is done. And it's like we have like a new client, so I got to make like a whole bunch of stuff. Like I'm basically in charge of making sure that reports are out. Like I have to make sure that when we're sending out all these different payments to people, I have to make sure everything's to a T. Like because I work with like my firm works with like international clients in like France and like Denmark, Sweden, all them places. So it's like niggas don't play games out there. So it's like
facts with reports. You ever the people like that send you reports? They ever send you the joints like last minute and you got to like scramble to get them joints out?
Yes,
that's the worst.
That's the worst.
Like what's even worse is when they'll send me stuff. They'll tell us that okay, we're giving you guys a payment, and then they won't give us it like 2-3 months later. Like there was some stuff that I got like this week that I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Come to find out, I checked my email and stuff like that. I got this shit like 3-4 months ago. I'm like, oh nah, they're wilding for that. And then you gotta make sure everything is still good. But it's like it's all good though. I like my job, so I'm trying to work there after law school. So
are you guys people that let your inbox like fill up and you have like 50 notifications, 60 notifications, 100 notifications? Are you a person that has every morning you got to clean that joint out?
Nah, I clean mine out every morning.
I have 12. I have 1,291 emails in my inbox.
I could never. That would give me an anxiety attack probably.
Your work email?
Yes.
Bro, how?
That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. I got mad stuff that I get on the regular, and there's stuff that I'm just CC'd in because like the thing is, for my job at least, most of the stuff that I'm learning on the fly, and there's a bunch of stuff that I don't know, not because of the fact like it's my fault, but because it's COVID. So like when I get into the office and they'll like sit here and be like, okay, remember this email that we were talking about at this time? This is what this means. And it'll make sense. Like most of the stuff that I see right now, it doesn't make sense to me because I don't like, it's not a part of what I was told to do. I'm like, I don't know what this means, so I'm just going to keep doing my job.
That's usually how it is in job.
The ones you were CC don't always come back and get you. You know what I mean? But you still got to pay attention to them Jones too, because you might miss something important.
Yeah, nah.
But I can. But 1,200 is crazy though.
That's OD. I thought you was gonna say like maybe 50.
I can't.
1,200.
Nah, there's a lot of different stuff that I get like on the regular that I just be looking at, and it's like sometimes it's just conversations that really don't pertain to me and don't pertain to my job, and there's stuff that is just like okay, like I feel like this is part of my job, but I don't know. Like once I get into the office and once things go back to normal, if I'm not in school by then, like things are.
Are you working from home right now?
Yeah, like I'm working from home.
Oh man,
that's why I'm just like, yeah, it's what it is what it is. Yeah. Like,
I feel it. Let's get into it though. So before we got on the pod, bro, I seen an announcement that South Carolina is trying to pass a bill for the death penalty to allow people to die by firing squad. So, yeah, I read a little more into it, and it says that the reason that they're doing this is because they can't afford to buy the medicine for the lethal injection. How do y'all feel about that?
Yo, people are so fucking stupid, bro. Like, governments are.
That's how they do it overseas.
It's not even about that. It's like you don't have enough money to kill somebody with something that costs like $37,000 approximately. So you're going to say, hey, let's get a bunch of people and shoot guns. Okay. Or instead of doing that, you can recreate the justice system where you have a system where it's not just about putting criminals in jail and keeping people in jail, but it's a rehab center so people can be beneficial members of society. But no, nobody wants to do that. Because why? Because people are fucking stupid. That's what it is. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's all you have to do. All right, cool. remake jails into rehabilitation centers. When you go to a place like New Zealand or like Australia, it's one of them random countries. They don't have jails where it looks like a jail. Like it looked like you chilling in like a room or like a rehab center. And people who kill somebody, they don't go to jail for life. They're not in jail for life. They're in jail for like, I don't want to give the number because I don't know, I don't remember off the top of my head, but like they're not in jail for an extended period of time because they understand that that doesn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it on a serious note, it's not surprising to me because the courts and the justice system is just really bent on just making money off putting people in jail. But it's just like it's stupid. Like, okay, we don't have enough money to kill people one way, so we're just gonna get people to kill somebody. And you don't think that messes with people's mental health?
That's what I was gonna ask. That's what I was gonna ask when it comes to having to. So how do you pick who has to go out and just kill somebody, like gun somebody
right
down?
First thing I thought about it was it didn't shock me that it's the South because the South still has death penalties in place. That was the first thing that jumped out to me. And then I started to think about the death penalty itself and how, I mean, it's crazy the things that people get like what they go through on death row. And it's crazy to be like killing people for crimes that they do. How do y'all feel about that? Do you feel like it's like a life for a life when it comes to that kind of stuff? Or you feel like people need to be served? Because I think the death penalty is kind of barbaric in some cases.
I don't think you should have the ability to take somebody's life. I know a lot of people say, well, they should have thought about that before they kill somebody, whatever it may be. But I don't think it makes sense in the grand scheme of things, because if the law is you can't kill somebody, why is it okay for the government to choose to kill somebody? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it's right. If anything, I think it'd be worse if I was somebody that was in that predicament, like, or I'm in jail for life or going on death row. I feel like it'd be worse to just sit in jail forever, knowing that you'll never get out. You feel me? But even in that sense, I still don't think I'm not really a big fan of the death penalty, in my opinion.
I'm not a fan of the death penalty either. If it was really, really, really up to me, I'm more of a vigilante justice type of guy, but that's neither here nor there.
What you mean by
But
that?
I wholeheartedly believe in vigilante justice. Um, and I believe in vigilante justice in terms of like the people determine what happens to you. Like you don't have like the police locking you up or court sending you to jail. I believe that in most cases, in large gatherings of people, in most cases, people will figure out the best way to handle you. If you go to like developing nations, when you see people that steal stuff, they beat their ass.
I'm laughing at the face you made, Mills.
No, think about it. You go to a different country and you steal something, you get caught stealing. They all beat your ass. They don't kill you.
They're gonna do more than beat you though. Some countries they cut your hands.
Yeah, they beat the brick. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's a situation where it's like, damn, like I'm not gonna want to steal no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying like go to jail or do whatever, but it's like in most cases, I think like one of the reasons why it doesn't happen in America is that in America we tend to have a situation where we're more of we're more of an individualistic type of country. Like in most developing nations, it's always like it takes a village to build a child type of mindset. So it's like if something like that were to happen, if it's a little boy stealing, they beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Or you kill somebody, you get your ass beat. You know what I'm saying? And I think that based off of that, I think that's the reason why like a lot of countries have vigilante justice and they don't say nothing. Also, on top of the fact, like a lot of cases, like law enforcement is a little bit corrupt. But for the most part, I personally, I'm not a big believer in the death penalty. Um, I just think that there's more ways to handle these things because it's just like it doesn't make sense that you're taking somebody's life and you think that or you're doing something extreme where you deserve to die, but you don't get a chance to change your life.
But let me ask you this though, because you say you believe in the vigilante justice system, but you don't believe in death penalty. But what if the masses are like, you need to be stoned to death for whatever you did?
Because that happens too.
That happens too.
People still get stoned to death in the street.
So in the same light, you with the death penalty because that's a death sentence in itself.
You know what? I can agree to that. I'm not for an automatic death penalty. I'll put it like that. Like
But you want people to be vigilantes in the street, beating up people?
Yeah, what you mean? We love Batman.
But this is real life, bro.
Yeah, this is real life.
There's real life. Let me stop. I'm trolling. Let me stop. But nah. Let me stop. Nah, for real though. Okay. My thing is with vigilante justice is in a lot of cases, you don't learn from jail. You don't. You know what I'm saying? You really don't learn anything from jail.
Well, at least in our prison system.
At least in our prison system, right? And I'll push further to even say in a lot of jail systems, you don't learn. I think that what hurts people more is shame and embarrassment, and public shame and embarrassment, than just saying you're going to jail for X amount of years. There's probably people who are in jail right now that we don't know shit of what they did. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing is that, like, let's use this for example. God forbid a guy sexually abuses a woman. They beating the brakes off that nigga. You know what I'm saying? And once you bring that type of attention, like, yo, this guy did this, he did this. In most cases, and I'm not saying most, in a lot of cases, if he lives in that part of town, he's not going to be able to show his face no more. You know what I'm saying?
Because that happens now, though.
Yeah, it does happen.
It does, but in most cases, for me, how I look at it is that a guy would go to jail and he'll come back out and he's not going to be able to sit here and learn from what he did. I think that because there's not that public shame aspect of it. I think that when it comes to rehabilitation, for me,
Stop you there. With the public shame though, like, don't you, correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, Toby, but when you do like something like sexual assault, don't you have to register as a sex offender so everybody knows
forever?
I mean, yeah, but in a lot of cases, do people really pay attention to that though? Compared to
yes, people, but actually, people do look that kind of stuff up, bro.
Have you looked it up?
Have I looked it up? Yeah. No, I haven't. But I know people do. Like when people are going to move in like neighborhoods and stuff with their kids, people do look that kind of stuff up.
Yeah, no, that's true. Maybe because I don't have kids yet. Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Maybe because you don't. But when you do have kids, I feel like that's gonna be something you're gonna look at your neighbors and make sure there's nobody there that can harm your child or whatever it may be. Because your whole mindset changes. Like now, at our age, I mean, it doesn't necessarily affect us as much, but when you talk about the family aspect, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I think that's something you should know.
What do you think about vigilante justice system, Shan?
I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy what Toby is saying. I think we could just fix the prison system, which will be extremely hard, because I watch a lot of shows about prisons all over the country. There are some that rehabilitate their prisoners in like a better way, and you see in those countries the crime rates are extremely low. Now, like, we also have this huge prison system in our country, so I mean, it would take years to get to where those countries that have low crime rates and actually good rehab prisons are. It would take us years to get there.
Aren't they trying to go ahead?
No, I was gonna say I don't think that's ever gonna happen in the US.
Well, reforming the prison system?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
But aren't they already trying to get rid of the private prison system?
Yeah, they already like ended like a contract with them, but that doesn't necessarily, like, the Department of Justice ended like a contract with them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that like it's going away. Like I feel like there's too much money involved in a lot of like public and private prisons for them to sit here and just say, yeah, we're just gonna rid them. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, yeah, I don't think anytime soon is gonna happen, at least in America, because it's just like we always say all the time, it's always about money in this country. Like,
yeah, private prisons make a lot of money.
Yeah, if it's not about money, it's about politics. And it's just like, yeah.
Because, a lot of private prisons like make products for like Walmart and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that'll be, and it's crazy. Like I said, the U.S. prison system is insane. We have the most prisoners on the planet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the U.S. prison system is humongous.
And that brings me to the next point of thing that everybody's mad about when it comes to like prison systems and detention centers is Biden and Harris breaking their promise to end the detention centers in Texas. How do you guys feel about that? Does that just even pull back the curtain even more about the politicians that we've been talking about in general?
Look, I'll say real quick before Toby goes on his rant. Remember when in the beginning of the year you said, who are you looking most forward to see what they're going to do in 2020? And I told you Joe Biden, because I wanted to see if he was going to keep all the promises that he made You know what I'm saying? And I said
Shit.
if he doesn't, it's gonna look real fucking bad. So that's exactly how I feel. Not surprised at all.
How you feel, Toad?
I'm not surprised either. Yo, yo, I've been seeing all the nonsense that's been happening. Yo, Trump coming back into office, bro. If he don't go to jail, Trump is going to win the election.
I don't think you think he's going to prison.
It's crazy out here though with what Biden's doing. But go ahead, Tom. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're right though, Shannon. It's nuts what Joe Biden is doing. It was like, yo, bro, like I got you with this. Just vote for me, trust me. And now you in office and you didn't do nothing. Like the president, the situation with the cages. To speak about it's annoying because it's like it goes back to what we were talking about last week, where it's just like we don't really understand the type of value a lot of these people have for the country. And it's like some of these people, in some cases, yeah, they may not be able to come in legally, or they may not be able to have situations where they can file for their papers the easiest way. But it's like, is that a detriment to them, or is that our problem? And to put kids in cages, especially with COVID going on, especially after what happened in Texas like last week, or not last week, over the past couple of weeks with the weather and how the government's been acting, it doesn't sit right with me that there's kids my little cousin's age that are sitting around in cages talking about they're hungry, they're cold, and all these different things going on, and them niggas just don't care. Yeah. And they're saying, oh yeah, we're taking care of them, but you're not. And it's crazy because it's like the whole cage situation. I remember Trump said it. There was an article where Trump was like, you can't blame me, blame Obama. And it was like, how do you talk about Obama like that? You're always talking about Obama. And then you really go and look at what he said, and then you really look at the order.
Yeah, that's true.
Who started the order?
My thing is,
Obama administration.
Who I argued about that. I was like, bro, when the cages come, people complaining about, you gotta look. I said, look who it started under, and they wouldn't look. You know what I'm saying? I was like, the same person that y'all praise and all that stuff happens. Like, not to throw no shade or nothing like that at anybody, but it's just like the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Shannon said, and like you said, so it's like it's not surprising at all. And this brings me back to the point of when Biden had his whole thing saying, oh, if you're not black if you don't vote for me, whatever it may be. And it's like,
oh man,
it's like almost people got bamboozled because
it's like one thing after another, bro. One thing after another. It's like the same shit. It's like the same shit for the past 4 years, just continued. Bullshit.
They use strippers to tell black men to come and vote. They told me that if Biden don't get into office, it's black men's fault. They told me that black men are the reason why Biden's going to win the election. Like black men are the problem with politics. Black men don't want to be liberals, this, that, and the third. They told us all these things about black men. And look what the fuck has happened. Look what happened. Look exactly what has happened. Black men were like, yo, don't sit here and trust these people. Let's not do the lesser of two evils. Y'all shame me into voting for this man. Y'all shamed me and shamed me. All this bullshit.
It's like
all this bullshit.
They're like, shame.
For months, everybody on Twitter was talking about, oh, I don't even think we could be in the same room no more if I find out that you didn't vote, or that you didn't vote for Biden, or if you want to waste your vote voting independent. Now look at this. We sitting here dumb as rocks. 2 million, how was it? Like 12 million less people are going to be qualified for the stimulus checks, less than Trump had. On top of that, kids in cages. It don't seem like our loans are getting forgiven. So it's like,
yeah, where is that at? Where is that at?
but Biden says he wants to unify both parties. He wants to unify both parties. But tell me, look at the conservative Democrats. Look at the conservative Democrats in the Senate. You think that they're going to help us? No. Look at the Republicans. They're not helping the Dems right now. They're not helping Biden. So what was the point? What was the point? There was no point.
I don't know, bro. That's the thing. It's like we're in a limbo. It's like,
yeah, bro. Limbo is a perfect word for it, man.
What do you think happens if stuff keeps up at this pace?
It's just going to continue to be madness, bro. It's just going to continue to be fucking madness out here. Like, watching the news is crazy. You know what I'm saying? just watching news, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with all this stuff?
It's something new every day.
Every single day, bro. Every single day.
And people are like, I thought we were past this, and it's just the same stuff reoccurring.
Yeah, bro. It
And
is.
all the Biden apologists are mad quiet on Twitter, and I can't wait because you want to know what else is happening the next couple of weeks. You know what's happening?
What?
The jury's gonna give their response. They're gonna give their They're gonna give a verdict on the George Floyd case.
Oh yeah, I did see that. They already like boarded up the courthouse and stuff. They already setting up for a riot already.
Rest in peace to George Floyd's family. I'm not laughing at the murder of George Floyd, but I'm laughing at what I think the response is gonna be. And when I see it, and when I see the tweet, like I said, what was going to happen a couple weeks ago with Trump and the Republican Party and the Nazis and Hitler, someone's going to tweet it. I'm just going to tag y'all. And I'm just going to disappear off the internet, son.
Nah, I remember you did say this though. I remember you did say
this man goes back to this fucking Nazi thing.
I remember
bro.
you did say this in 2020 before the new year hit when we were talking about things just repeating themselves and voting people in the office and cases happening and the riots happening and being repetitive. I remember you did say that, Boost, and if that happens again, it's gonna be like, dang. Like,
can I say something else?
What's up?
It would be crazy if Trump had Twitter right now.
Oh,
the shit he will be saying on Twitter. Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
Oh, I forgot he was banned, but if
Twitter would be crazy right now. You know how he will be typing his all cap text. He will be going crazy. He will be going crazy on Twitter if he had it right now.
How do you think other countries are looking at us?
The same way they always do. Like we're stupid Americans, which is why they won't be wanting us in their countries. You feel me? Oh, here come the fucking Americans. They finna come over here doing some dumb shit.
I feel like we're you know the movie Life. I feel like we can't get right. Like we can't get right about nothing. Like
no facts. Not facts.
Like we can never get on the right accord to make things move in the right direction. You feel me? It's like we having these same conversations about, dang, we thought this was gonna happen, but this is really happening.
Nothing's happening.
And Toby said, they always pick the same scapegoat every time. But at the end of the day, who are we? But let's go into the next subject about. So I am actually the to sports podcast with Brandon Marshall, Fred Taylor, Ocho Cinco, and who's the fourth guy? I forget his name. Channing something. I forget his last name. He played linebacker.
He played in the league too.
Yeah.
So they're talking about like stuff that goes on like sports and things like that. But they had a real conversation. All the conversations are real, but a conversation that hit home for a lot of like men and stuff. And they were talking about how there's no safe space for men to express their feelings or how they're feeling mentally about in society in general. And obviously the clip went viral. And then there was a woman on Twitter that quoted the tweet, and the tweet got a lot of backlash because she said y'all could have each other, but y'all think everything is yay, and that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. And I sent the tweet in the group chat, so I want y'all to react and tell me how y'all felt from the clip, and then just the responses that you've seen for it.
The clip was great. It's always nice to see men like that play the same sport as us be vulnerable like that. Like Chad Johnson started crying, because he just lost his mom when he started talking about that. So the clip was great, and I think it's great to see those four guys doing what they're doing because they have like one of the top podcasts right now, and they haven't been doing it for that long.
Yeah,
And they had the clip go viral a couple weeks ago with Cam talking about Bill Belichick and stuff like that. So as far as the tweet goes, obviously rubbed me the wrong way too. But I got to thinking about a lot of guys don't feel comfortable opening up because they think of shit like the same way that girl tweeted. Like everything she said, I feel like dudes be feeling that way sometimes. You know what I mean? And feel like they can't open up. I think you really gotta trust the people around you to want to open up. And I feel like a lot of times people in their circles don't have nobody that they can trust to even talk to like that.
The sentiment that she said, the quote that she said, I didn't agree with that because I feel like it's more to it than what you said, guys feeling gay about expressing their feelings because,
Mhm.
like you said, obviously it goes into who your circle is, who's around you, whatever it may be. But when you break down what the conversation was about, because I watched the full episode, and Chad Johnson Ochocinco said that the reason he didn't know how to express himself is because of his mother. That's the way he was brought up. His mom didn't show no emotion, whatever it may be. He even went into a scenario when he was on the show, and they did a funeral thing where he had to lay in the casket. His mom had to come up and see and express how she felt. She's like, why am I here? Whatever it may be, go roll him off, whatever, and show no emotion towards you. You feel me? He said that's just how he was. So growing up, he didn't know how to show emotion, express himself because that's how he's taught growing up. And I feel like a lot of people, that's what a lot of people's scenarios are. It's not because they don't necessarily want to, or they feel a certain way around somebody else, but it's how they were brought up and how they were trained mentally kind of as a kid to, oh, you got to be tough as a guy, whatever it may be. You can't cry, you can't do this, whatever it
Yeah.
may be. And like Brandon Marshall used a prime example of, because he said he had twins. He said when they both fall, he caters to his daughter a certain way rather than the twin son. And he goes to his
Mhm.
daughter, it's like, oh, it's okay, baby. You can show emotion, let it out, let it out. But the son's like, come on, son, get up. You're all right, whatever it may be. And I feel like that's a way a lot of us are conditioned as young men coming up and as in youth in general.
Yeah, it's like a society thing almost because like even he didn't realize he was like doing something like that until he sat back and thought about it. You know what I mean? So it's so common that it's almost just like second nature.
Yeah, and then also even going to that, when you get into our age and stuff like that, you even have like some women say that, oh, I don't want an emotional ass man. You feel me?
Right.
It's like I've heard the saying, I'm emotional enough for the both of us, or whatever it may be. How is he gonna be emotional if I'm emotional too? And it's like now you're stuck in the bind where you don't really have a safe space to express yourself. I mean, obviously all women aren't like that, but it's a rhetoric that goes around all the time. It's like you want somebody that's tough, that can defend you, that can, if stuff goes wrong, they're gonna be there and not cry or fold or whatever it may be. But in the same time, in the same sentence, it's like if as a man, if you can't do that, if you can't do that around the person that's really close to you, when can you do that in general? So, I mean, Moose, what do you think about it?
Um, it goes back to the question that I asked the first time. In most cases, in response to the tweet that whatever girl said, this goes back to my question. In most cases, if your ex-girlfriend were to die, or a girl that you used to talk to, messed with, died, and you was dating a girl and you cried in front of her about it, regardless of how long y'all dated, your girl would not respect you. She may not say it outright, but she not gonna respect you. And I think that them posting this and girls having the response that they said was the prime example of that. Like, it don't make sense that we sat here, and I've said this again, and I'm going to repeat it again. We watched George Floyd get assassinated. We had a white officer put his foot on his knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Within that time span, it took one person. It took one person to fuck up for every single black woman on earth to say men are trash, black men are trash. Just one person to fuck up in the midst of that, right? And so during that space where black men were vulnerable, where black men were looking at certain things where it's like, damn, like that could be me, just like it could have been with Trayvon or Eric Gardner or Alton Sterling or what's his name, Ahmaud Arbery. It only takes one thing for people to look at black men as, okay, we give you the space, but then the moment you fuck up, we don't give you that space no more. And so it's like, why I think Shorty sounds dumb when she says everything is gay is that, like, you think that it's gay because you're not used to that. You're told that girls are told, and girls are told, if you want if you want to deal with a guy, you want to be able to deal with a guy that's not emotional, that's a man. When girls think of a man, they think of a guy that doesn't cry or who can't show his emotions. Why? Because in most cases, girls are attracted to guys who are indifferent and show no emotions. Girls tend to have a tendency to feel protected around those types of guys. Going back to our bad boy conversation, girls like guys that don't show emotion, where, okay, they're unmovable, they seem like a rock. But at that same time, at a certain point, not every single rock was like that at a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Not every single guy was like that at a certain point. And for women, before I even get into the guy situation, for the girl who said that, like, you sound really dumb, and I really hope that you don't have kids. And that sounds really, really bad to say, but it's like, imagine you growing up in a society now where women, where you want to have women empowerment, but you are in charge, you are in charge of holding life in your body, and you give life to a man, and you now sit here and use that rhetoric and say, oh, you can have this, but men normally think that's gay in a space where the LGBTQ community is lively, in a time where racial tension is high, in a time where black men are assassinated almost twice as much, two, 3 times as much as every other racial demographic in the country. And you say that instead of you just saying, hey, are there spaces for men? Are there spaces for men? And to be honest, to all the women, there are. There are a lot of spaces that I personally use, not even digitally. If I have things that I have to talk about, I go to my homies from high school. If I have something that I'm dealing with, like say financially or spiritually, I go to my mentors. Business wise, I talk to you, Miles. I talk to you, Shannon, if I have any ideas. Like if I just want to, if I just want to enjoy myself, I have friends that I could do that with. There are spaces, but it's how do people look at those spaces for black men? You know what I'm saying? If you just see a bunch of black men just enjoying themselves, walking around, that's still our space. But how do people view that space? Do they view that as, okay, they're just black men enjoying ourselves? Or are they black men who seem like they're up to no good? Or are they black men that are going to go do something wrong? Everybody has to give them a double eye. Everybody has to clutch their purse when they see them. And then it's like, you see that we walk down the street, we feel uncomfortable, we don't have those spaces outside. And now it's like, okay, there's no safe spaces. Even looking at it digitally, there's plenty of safe spaces where men can learn how to learn how to be with their emotions, you know, where you have like places like the roommates community. Shout out to the roommates down in Texas. They have a great podcast where they talk to guys about dating, being the best version of yourself, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and you don't ask. And it's like, my problem with that tweet is just the fact of you didn't ask. Like you just assumed, you just pulled it out your ass. And that's what made me upset about it. And that goes to my bigger problem just about the black community and black men. We pull a lot of shit out of our ass when it comes to talking about black men. But let a black man pull that same nonsense about a black woman, you see how they come at us. You know what I'm saying? And there's not even any type of statistical or logical like reasoning behind what they're saying. Like if we want to go into toxic masculinity, or we want to talk about certain different things, and if you want to actually disprove what toxic masculinity is, we can go down that road. But it's like we never talk about toxic femininity. There's so many spaces for girls, so many spaces for women, not even just black women, but women still seem to be the victim somehow. There's space for y'all to level up, get your money. There's spaces where y'all people look to hire y'all, even in the STEM field, being a pastor, doing all these different things, and y'all still seem to be the ones to be the victim.
Let me ask you this, or both of you this. So, like Toby named it a bunch of different spaces that he has personally. I know Shannon, you have we have a great group of friends. We talk about all the different stuff. You feel me on both ends of the spectrum. So, why is there such a narrative that there is no space for us to have conversations like the ones that they had in I Am Athlete when we are proof that there is. Like why is there a rhetoric that goes around that, oh, there is no safe spaces, or you guys should be talking about stuff like this, when in reality I can guarantee you if you go to a lot of guys, they do have those friends that they do talk to
Absolutely.
about, and I feel like it's a false narrative that goes around.
Yeah. It's just like continue to push that bullshit narrative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like Top said, I think like you said, I mean, especially in today's day and age, there's too many ways for you to be able to express yourself for nobody to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think you also got to look at it from the standpoint of like people just look at it as like what's really being how it's projected. It's like for girls, like I said, let me not even say girls, for people on the internet, what you see is what you get, right? When we look at the spaces, you normally see a lot of women showing support to women on the internet. Sometimes it's fake, sometimes it's not. You don't know. It's, it's not important. But when you see guys, in a lot of cases, most guys don't really show us that safe space or show us those type of supports. We just it's just there. You know what I'm saying?
Or if
And
people say
so
like you dick eating or something like that.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's like not even just that. When you take it off the internet, most of these girls that be showing support to the girls on the internet, do they really hang out in person? You get what I mean? You get what I mean? It's like for me, it's like if I'm really gonna go and talk to my homies, like I'll go and group FaceTime my homies. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll go and group FaceTime you, I'll text you, I'll call you because the internet doesn't need to know what I'm
Them
talking
group
about.
FaceTimes be lasting for hours.
They be clutch
Exactly.
too. They be
They do be
Exactly.
clutch, and they be random, and they be organic. You know, the last
random.
time we had one, we was on it from like 8 to 1 in the morning, like
Yeah,
totally unplanned. Somebody called the group chat on accident.
yeah.
Next
Just
thing you know,
chop.
we was all just on there chopping it up. You know, you need those times. You
Yeah,
definitely need those times. Not even just to just like get away from like everything else for a little bit. You know, because we really just be bullshit on it. You know, bouncing ideas of each other, laughing, talking about old memories. You know, so you definitely need them times.
and sometimes we just be talking about nothing. It just be funny as
Yeah.
hell. Like, and then
Mm-hmm.
that'd be the best ones. Like I had one with you in the group chat. I had one with you saying, and then other like a week or two ago, I had one with Toby. It was just we started talking about the most random stuff. Like, oh, you need to get your. It started off with like Darrell was like standing in the back, and Toby's like, you need to get your weight up, and we just started the whole
Yo,
conversation about
shout
like
out the
boxing,
row.
bro.
Shout out the row. You need to get in the gym, nigga.
It started the whole
He's
conversation.
getting in the gym.
And those are spaces I'm talking about. Where you have the luxury to like just at any moment in time you can just hit up your friends in the chat. Like
Yeah.
it was someone randomly called by accident. Conversation went for like 5 hours.
Right.
So
You know, I was on the phone with Kendall for an hour before we started. You know what I mean? So we're definitely lucky to have the group of friends that we have.
nah,
You know?
definitely. And another question, and before we close this segment out, is why do you feel as though we get into a thing where we don't check in on people? Like, why do you think there's points of times where we go periods of times without checking on somebody? I know there's periods of times like where people in our group that we won't hear from them for a little bit, but people necessarily won't check in on them. Do you think it's because we it's that selfishness on them? Like we feel as though like, oh, if they're not hitting me up, I don't have to hit them up or whatever it may be, or do you think it's just life happens and we're not at the age where we talk 24/7 all the time?
I think definitely sometimes you just be busy, you know, for a couple of days or for a couple hours, you know, whatever it may be. Sometimes you can't, you know what I'm saying? But it always helps to kind of check because sometimes you could just be in your own little world, you know what I'm saying, for a couple of days, especially when you got a lot of stuff going on. You know, kind of like how you said, Toby, with work. You know what I'm saying? I know if I had 1,200 emails right now, you know, I don't know if I would really be on my phone
Yeah,
texting too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nah, you're right about that. I think like part of it is an ego thing. That was another thing I wanted to touch on. Like I think that a lot of people have ego, and it's like the spaces that people have. I think that when it comes to contacting people, like you said, Miles, it has to do with ego. Like I, for me, I'm the type of person where I do hit people up. And if I see like there's a reciprocation, like yeah, like I can continue that relationship. I'm not the best at it. But I know that for a fact, I'll definitely go out of my way to hit people up if I feel like you genuinely appreciate that. Like I have a group of people that, like I talk to, but it was just like you only wanted to talk in a group chat. Outside of that, I don't get no, hey, how you doing? Like, yo, like how's this going? Like, but it's like I'm the one who's reaching out to y'all. If I don't talk to you, you don't talk to me. Like, that's a problem to me. Because it's like the same way that I'm reaching out to you, trying to show you love, all this stuff, there's no reason why you can't do the same.
facts.
You know what I mean? And it's like if I'm sitting here trying to show you love, or I'm here trying to talk to you about whatever, trying to relate to you on a certain level with things that you like, and you're not really feeling that to me, that's a very big problem to me. It kind of shows that you don't really care for the relationship. And for me, I'm in this space now where it's like I'm not gonna go out of my like I'm getting to a space now where it's like I can't keep teaching grown ass people how to communicate or teaching grown ass people how to have a relationship with people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so it's like if you're not gonna do that, I can't continue to be the one showing love because at that point it just kind of seems like I'm pouring into an empty cup. I'm too old for that. You know what I mean?
How do you kind of explain it your side, but Shannon, how do you deal with like one-sided relationships, like when it comes to friendships and stuff like that?
I mean, I don't have any one-sided friendships. You know what I'm saying? I got the same small group of friends.
Mhm.
So, and I talk to y'all on a regular basis. That's all I need. You know, you guys are my closest homies. You know what I'm saying? So, like, if it's not work or if it's not y'all, I'm not talking to anybody. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times, like, it's not even that you have to really talk every day. Like sometimes me and you text mails and it's just quick 5-minute conversation about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or just about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's really all you need. You know what I'm saying? But I know that me and Mills ain't got no issue. If I called you right now, you would answer the phone. You know
100%.
what I'm saying?
Now I feel that. I know I've been in scenarios and situations where it's like you kind of can feel the energy. You thought you had a certain relationship with somebody, and then the energy's like not there for some whatever reason is, and it maybe it's just like maybe they have some animosity towards you, or they're not really rocking with you, whatever it may be. But you never really understood or knew why. But I mean,
It's weird when that's out of nowhere.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, and it happens out of nowhere. Like you'd be like,
Yeah.
what's the problem? And then people won't even be upfront about it. But at the same time, the whole time that they feel a certain way, or maybe you did something that you didn't realize you did, um, and they just didn't speak up about it. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation to be in. But me personally, I don't really do the whole one side thing. Once I notice and feel like that energy's not there, the reciprocate, I kind of just like, all right, cool. I'll still check up on you every now and then, but it's like it's not gonna be something where it's I'm wasting my energy trying to do it. You feel me?
Right.
But that was good for that segment. Let's get into the Face of the Future song of the day. It comes from an artist out of New Jersey, Plainfield, New Jersey. That came across it today actually. Sunny Surf. And the Face of the Future song of the day is presented by MBT Face of the Future. Check us out on all streaming platforms. Check us out on YouTube and subscribe at MBT Face of the Future for all our video content. And like I said, the Face of the Future song of the day comes from Sunny Surf. She's from Plainfield, New Jersey. Jersey, stand up. You know what I'm saying? This is her latest single called Special. Again, that was Sunny Surf Special. Streaming on all platforms. That's her latest single. All right, some big news happened in the sports world that I think is going to change the dynamics of basketball even more, um, in the way that kids are going to maneuver, trying to make it to the NBA. Overtime, which is a big sports media company, announced that they're starting a basketball league for 16 to 18-year-olds, and they said they're going to be paying them up to 100K. Was it?
Yeah. Guaranteed. It says
100K
guaranteed here.
guaranteed. So, and then if they decide they want to go to college, they'll fund their tuition. Is that
Yeah,
what?
for free.
Got you? So
$100K, $100K in tuition.
100 G's. So that's one that's big time. And once again, I'm gonna circle back to LeVar Ball and give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Because him and even before him, Brandon Jennings did it. Brandon Jennings went a different route besides going to college, but LeVar Ball took LaMelo out of high school and put him in the pros immediately. You feel me?
Right. Right.
Overseas. And now it's becoming a trend that kids, if they have the opportunity to make bread and get that experience, kind of how Luca did when he was overseas playing from age 15 to 18, whatever it may be, they're going to take that opportunity. So, one, I want to ask you, how do you guys think this is going to change the dynamics of high school sports, and how do you think it's going to change the dynamics of college sports?
Well, I'll start off by saying the last time we talked about something like this, and I said these kids are taking their brands into their own hands. These kids already have like 250,000 followers. You know, like kid like Mikey Williams and like DJ White, and they're all over Instagram, all over Twitter all the time. So I think the top kids were probably going to jump all over this opportunity to do that, plus make 100 grand. Plus, I'm seeing it says individualized academics, finance, plus media, plus like classes about your like making your own brand, which is going to make them even better, and world class sports science facility basketball development. So, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like they're all going to be in one place or what, but it seems like it's like another version of the G League, kind of, you know, with how the G League kind of is getting like the top guys, some of the top coaches at that next level have like former NBA coaches come down and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. I feel like a lot of kids are probably going to jump all over it. And like we've been saying, NCAA is in trouble, especially with like kids. Like you said, more and more kids are going overseas. More and more kids are joining the G League. So the NCAA is in serious trouble here.
We kind of alluded this. I think I don't know if it was Moose or you, Shan, that said this when we were talking about the feeder leagues that FIFA has for like soccer overseas, and we kind of talked about how we thought basketball was going to go this direction, and a week later they announced that they're making a league for the high school and
Yeah.
youth. So, do you think it might be to get to? Do you guys think it'll get to a point where, if it's successful its first few years, that NBA teams are going to start to have feeder teams from the bottom, going from like the overtime league into like the G League, the D League, all the way up to their NBA team, where they're just going to be grooming players from jump?
Yeah, they have to, because it's like it's getting to a point now where it's just like it. How do I say this? For me, it doesn't make sense that it hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? Like I feel like they were starting to do it with the NBA and with China, but everything that was happening and going on there, in between that time frame, that kind of messed up a little bit of the relations. But to me, it overall doesn't make sense that it doesn't happen yet. Like most of these countries have national U17 team, U under 17 basketball teams. They all have like professional G League teams. They all have their regular professional basketball teams. It's just like FIFA, but it's like the US. It's like, we don't know how we're gonna do it. But it's like if you're not doing it, you just kind of saw LeVar made the blueprint, and then now you have overtime, who's now offering 100K to kids, and it's like, what are you trying to do now? You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to talk about the NCAA because the NCAA's been screwed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like, I already look at them as like an afterthought because they've already lost, for the most part, just because of stuff like this that's happening. Stuff like this is very destructive in the industry. And like when destructive stuff like this happens, like stuff like the NCAA goes to a certain point, it's like, damn, where it's like, what are we about to do? You know what I mean? And so I think that with the league, I think what the league needs to start doing is trying to figure out how they're about to get things like scout teams into different cities. You know what I'm saying? How to develop these under 17 state teams, for example. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like for all that, it makes a lot of different things easier, like making it national United States team. You know what I'm saying? Making an Olympic team. You know what I'm saying? Because what kind of seems to happen for me, in my opinion, is that like you're in the NBA, okay, the Olympics is coming up. You all try out. If you want to go, you can make it. But that shouldn't be the case. You know what I mean? It shouldn't just be NBA players get first dibs when there's some kids who are really talented, when there are some people who are extremely talented, there's some coaches who could get an opportunity. So I think that like it's weird to me how they haven't done it, but just looking at the positives, like it's great that they're offering 100K to kids who are 16 years old, because we all know most of these kids who need it, who play basketball. We also could see that the benefits in terms of like financially helping these kids out, obviously teaching them finances, obviously like just teaching them how to be better kids, because like I think that a lot of kids just focus on basketball and they focus going back into like the Black community, like we focus on just being so good at sports, but we kind of neglect the other areas of our life, like how to be good financially, how to be good character-wise, how to be good with making your own brand. So I think like it's really good, and I think that this is definitely a destructive piece in the industry. So,
But when it comes to when you come to say like they're only focused on basketball, wouldn't this make even a more focus, micro and macro focus on basketball? Because kids are gonna be like, I want to get to this league. It's all I'm focused. I'm not gonna be playing like football anymore. I'm gonna be playing baseball anymore. It's just I want to get to this league, get this bread by 16, 18, hopefully get not drafted, go to like the G League or another pro team and get to the league. Like I feel like there's gonna be more hyper focus on sports. Like
Yeah.
all I'm focused on. Forget AAU. AAU gonna go by the wayside. I figure like this is almost gonna not discontinue amateur sports, but it's gonna put a big dent in it when it comes to
For
basketball.
sure. And I'll say, like you said, like if the NBA can somehow get their hands on this eventually, if it's successful, and if like the NBA can start getting some of their guys, like some of their head coaches and their personnel in there, I think it'd be great, because the NBA is always looking for more talent, and that could expand the league. They could expand the league if it's just saturated with talent. If you got kids that are eligible to go on a draft at 18, because they're probably going to change that 1-year college rule eventually. If you can get kids that are ready to play in the pros at 18, the league's going to be saturated with good players. That's going to bring about expansion for the NBA if they're looking at it from a business standpoint. You know what I mean?
I think like I'll give it like 2 years. I think they're taking away that 1-year college rule, because it's like I think not like, I mean, obviously like it's not no fault to us, but it's I think we're already behind the ball on knowing what's going on, because it's like there's no way. Like I put it like this, like when they were talking about LeBron signing the extension and his son playing with him playing with Ronnie and stuff like that, like they're like, oh yeah, they might take away the 1 year league, they might take away the 1 year college rule, whatever. And I'm thinking like, okay, but what am I missing? And then this stuff came up. You know what I mean? So it's like there's already stuff that's probably in the works of being established. And so I think that the NBA understands that. And I think that hopefully, like I said, they have their scouts across the states that are, looking at this, looking at kids, because it's easy for somebody to just say, yeah, I'm going to overtime league, or I could have went to LeVar's league and I'll just be playing here for X amount of money. You know what I'm saying? And so I think for the league, I think it'll behoove them to definitely do that. In terms of what you were saying about other sports, Miles, I don't think that it'll just be a sole focus on basketball though. Baseball is still always going to be baseball because baseball, there's a lot of bread in there. They already have a lot of stuff established for baseball. So baseball is already going to be their thing. Soccer is not big in America. So
Yeah.
so it's just like basketball. It's always been about basketball, baseball, and football. You know what I'm saying? So it's like football is always going to be football. I mean, as the risks increase, I don't think people are going to play football as much. But I do think that basketball is definitely going to be the sport in America. Like, I think that's going to be America's like sport, the way like say soccer is like Europe's sport.
That's what they're developing to be for sure. And my thing when it comes to the NBA teams potentially like having their teams like different states or different cities, like the feeder leagues. Like you saw like when Bronny went back to play LeBron's old high school and how they sold out the whole arena. Like imagine if they have a team in every state, like an overtime team in every state. Like people are gonna go watch these youth kids play. Like they're gonna sell out games and arenas and stuff like that, and be able to travel at a high level. So I don't know if it's gonna be a thing where you gotta try out for the teams in each city or whatever it may be. I don't know how it's gonna work if it's gonna have multiple teams.
Yeah.
Because there's too many high school kids in the world. So how are they gonna be able to? How are they gonna be able to decide? All right, who gets to play this? Who gets to play that? Like,
and there's too many high school kids that are crazy talented right now. Like if like Zion had this league, Zion would sell out stadiums too because you can see the fans that he drew in high school.
Yeah,
and, like Mikey Williams and DJ Wagner, they could definitely be selling out some of these stadiums.
Now it'll be definitely interesting to see, man. It'll definitely be interesting to see.
I think I give it a couple years. I think it could be very successful. But I think just like in terms of thinking bigger, I think the league they have like a couple years to get.
Can't hear you too well, bro.
I said I think in a couple of years, I think the league has to start getting this rolling. Just because it's like it's either that or I think they need to find a commissioner for the league who's thinking internationally. You know what I'm saying?
He said LeVar.
It'll probably never happen.
They would never let LeVar do that.
Never happen.
They would never let him have that.
But do you think he in there consulting them though? I'll bring in LeVar to consult. He started.
He might be. Do you think the NBA will try to stay away from that if he did get involved?
No, not if he's just consulting. If he's just consulting, like
I'm saying, if he's a commissioner.
Oh.
You know what? You know what's crazy? You know what's really crazy? I don't think LeVar is as crazy as people make him out to be. He just a wild dude. Like he like Joe Budden.
So do you think the NBA would do business with him if LeVar Ball was commissioner?
Yeah, his son about to be the face of the NBA.
You mean like his son is the prototype of not going.
His son is the prototype of this process.
Yeah,
he is the prototype.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like I think it'll behoove overtime to bring LeVar in. If he's not the commissioner, but him have a role and look, this is how I did it. This is how you need to do it. You know what I'm saying? I started my own league overseas, had my own team. We traveled all over the world. We were pretty successful in what we did for I'm sure he didn't have anywhere near the funding that Overtime's having because Overtime probably has a bunch of investors. Because I guarantee you, a company like Overtime is like how Sports Illustrated was back in the day, and all that stuff. They probably have the other bigger organizations probably have some type of equity or feeding into them to cover certain kids. So they have Overtime's pretty much like a scouting media company. They show the top athletes or whatever it may be. So it's like, I think a lot of people will be heavily invested in this league in a sense. I just hope it goes well because it'll be interesting and exciting to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get into the final thing I want to talk about is Texas, University of Texas. There's a big thing kind of broke out as football players, and I don't know if it was just football players or all the players in the athletic department, but I know the football was the big mainstay because they obviously in Texas for the longest they bring in the most bread, and a lot of the athletes, a lot of the black
Easily.
athletes and minority athletes didn't want to sing their fight song because like I said, there's racist rhetoric in it, and their alumni and donors came out and spoke out against them and telling kids that if you don't sing this fight song that you will never ever get a job in Texas, you will never be a part of this program, whatever it may be. And I'm gonna read one of the quotes from the donors. They said, "It is sad that is offending the blacks. As I said before, the blacks are free and it's time for them to move on to another state where everything is in their favor." So it's like, one, what do you mean by the blacks? The one that are bringing money to your school? So if you guys were in this position because you guys are both athletes, and you were in this position, would you sing the fight song knowing that you're on scholarship, you could potentially lose your college career, coaches might sit you because the head coach backed up the donor saying that, oh, these guys need to sing the fight song as part of the tradition, whatever it may be.
Did he
So
really?
He
yeah,
has to.
yeah,
He has to.
yeah. I mean, essentially, yeah, he has to because he's a new
That's what
coach.
I'm saying. That just shows how fucked up that whole system is. Because those donors are dead ass serious. And at the end of the day, you know the University of Texas is counting on the football team bringing in all that revenue that it does and getting money from the donors. You know, they got their own network. They have Longhorn Network. You know what I mean? So you know that they want to keep those donors happy. You know what I mean? That just shows how fucked up NCAA sports are.
Okay. My thing is that if they don't keep them happy and they all decide to shut the fuck up, what are they gonna do? Are they out there? Like you think about it. If they all were like, let's keep it a stack. If even just the skill players said we not singing shit, you really think that they cut all their scholarships? And if you cut all their scholarships, you really think that Longhorn TV is really going to be successful? You really think that's going to happen? It's not.
And they hurting their program.
Exactly. So my thing is that like I'm not surprised at the coach because it's like I expect the coach to do that because the coach is damn near in bed with donors. That's how they get most of their stuff. Like we all know. I'll share a story. For example, very, very side note, very irrelevant to what we're talking about, but the Rutgers football team 1 year, these niggas, next thing you know, we see pictures on the internet, we see the Migos next to the head coach of the Rutgers football team. I'm like, how the hell you get the Migos? Come to find out the Migos got paid, came to Jersey, sitting here performing at one of the donors' houses, and the whole football team there. And we just looking like, damn, that's how y'all move? You get what I'm saying? So it's like pulling this back here is like, I'm not surprised that the
That's
coach.
kind of fire, man. Imagine having
told
amigos
you
come have a
that's fire.
the whole squad.
I was sick. I was sick.
Doing the dope in the crowd pie.
Yeah, that's fire.
No, I was sick. But at the same time, I'm looking at it as like I'm not surprised that like the coach is going to be in bed with the donors because the donors can get you a lot of pull. They can get you they can get you money. You guys know.
That's
You guys know this
basically
really,
funds
yeah.
the program at the end of the day.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fund the program. But where my problem comes in is that this is the same situation that we're looking at with like Deshaun Jackson, not Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson, where it's like you not understanding how much pull people have. Like people come to watch y'all perform. If you think that half the school is gonna come and perform, gonna come to your school and watch no skill players play, your certain quarterback not play, all of that, you're mistaken. And if it's the case where you lose a donor, there'll be another donor. And it's like if you're really gonna say, I'm not giving y'all money if you guys don't sing, you sound dumb. I mean, that's just how Toby thinks.
But I was gonna say this. If it was that easy, then how come when Cap was doing Cap doing, nobody pulled that trigger like they were supposed to? If it's that simple.
We talking about Kaepernick?
Yeah, like the scenario that you said that could have easily been happening in the league as well, where everybody, I'm saying the black people the black players, because the majority of the league, the NFL is black, they could have sat out and it would have caused a whole disarray in the NFL.
You see, that's a little, in my opinion, that's a little bit different because it's like how do I say this? You basically working in a system where everybody is extremely connected. It's like the music industry. It's like if you're gonna be rude to say someone at Atlantic and you disrespect somebody, they probably gonna be cool with somebody at Warner, and you can't really do nothing about that at that point if you fuck that relationship up. If going back to the league, it's like if you mad with one of the owners, even if you have enough skill guys, they have a system in place already where there's so many skill guys coming up, especially if it's like wide receivers, cornerbacks, they're gonna find another one. And it's gonna take them a year or two. Like, put it like this. Hypothetically, if all the wide receivers on the 49ers at that time said, oh yeah, we're gonna stay in solidarity with Cap, they could draft all those receivers again in probably like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm not speaking. I'm not speaking on just like one team. I'm talking about the league as a whole. You feel me? Because that was a league-wide
Yeah.
issue. I'm
And
saying if it was that easy, I just put it on a grander scale with the Kaepernick situation. Saying if because we use Texas as an example, saying if all the players, there's top skill players, whatever, not even top skill, but all the skill players said I'm not playing, offense and defense said I'm not playing, whatever. I'm not singing this song. Boom. If now you put on a grander scale when it's to the Colin Kaepernick situation, if all the players, because it was a league-wide thing, it wasn't just the 49ers thing, it was a league-wide thing. If all the skill players on offense and defense, I'm talking Deshaun Watson, I'm talking Patrick Mahomes, I'm talking who's the top running backs in the NFL, Saquon Barkley, I'm talking
Zeke.
Zeke, all of them saying, bro, we're not playing until you fix this situation. What do you think happens to the NFL on Sundays, bro?
I mean, no, yeah, you're right on that. But
Who do people go to watch, bro?
but that's my thing though. My thing is it's a little bit different in the league because it's like with the league, I think
Get a little close to your mic, bro.
oh my bad. With the league, I look at it like this. With the league, there's 32 owners. And those owners will more than likely be in place for a very, very long time. They're the sole investors. Most of these people, their families are invested in the teams. So it's like if you mess with Bob McNair and you say fuck you, Bob McNair, his son is still gonna screw you over. You get what I'm saying? When you look at college football, I'm not saying that it's not connected, but it's like if you mess up in the Big 12, for example, I'm I'm very optimistic. You can go to the SEC and find another D1 school where
Yeah,
you
you
could
can find other schools.
yeah. But the only caveat with that also is that for me, I'm looking at it as like the only other big thing about it, because like I said, this is just Toby just speaking what Toby would do. But in a realistic situation, it'll be difficult for say a starting quarterback to say, I'm not doing this for y'all. I'm leaving. I'm going to the SEC. I'm going to the Big Ten, and then think that he's gonna get automatically just walk on and start for his starting position
Happen.
again against like a Big 12 quarterback or someone who's already there. You know what I mean? So it's like I think it's a little bit different. I think with the league, it was difficult because it's like them niggas is playing with money, like the actual money, and it's very, very difficult for you to get into the league.
A lot of them wasn't risking that bread. If
Yeah.
your owner came out and said we're not doing this, like Jerry Jones did at first, remember? Nobody from the Cowboys really said much. Jerry Jones said, if he literally said if you don't stand at the anthem, you will get cut like on the spot. Like he wasn't playing none of that.
You think he's
You
cutting
know?
Zeke though? I don't think he's cutting.
I don't know. I don't know, Mill. That's what he said. Nobody kneeled for a couple weeks. Nobody did anything. Nobody even tried him. You know what I'm saying?
I feel no. I understand. I'm not disagreeing with y'all, but I'm just saying though. I feel as though it depends who it is, because I feel as though I don't think Jerry Jones is cutting Zeke.
Here's another thing that I have to think. Getting back to the Texas situation, do they either how much power do these donors really have? Do the Texas Longhorns really need that many donors to drop them? Are they going to really feel that financially like that? If you think about all the revenue they bring in on game day, the Longhorn Network, all the viewers that's bringing in, especially with COVID, because people are watching the games from home now, with all the merch they sell every year, is it really going to hurt them if a couple of donors drop out?
We were talking about this in a group chat with Ray and all them, and there was like a study saying that a lot of schools don't even profit from football, like from game day and stuff like that. A lot of universities don't. Like they bring in a lot of money, but the university still doesn't at the end.
But
of
I'm saying one like Texas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I'm saying I think they did a study. It was like a SEC school or something. I forget what. I got to look at the notes. But
No, for a fact. Sorry, finish it.
No, you're good.
No, I was gonna say like when Rutgers entered the Big Ten, since they've been in the Big Ten, they have not profited once since they've entered the Big Ten. So it's like they need those donors to keep that money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't want to put yourself in a hole where it's like, damn, we ain't got no bread. You know, so it's like if it was me personally, if I was on the team, if I was on the team, I would risk it. If other niggas won't risk it, if not, I'd probably transfer schools.
I know you risking it.
That's a lot. That's a lot of power to give like a donor because who's in control at that point? Who's in control?
The donors are,
You know what I'm saying? Who's in control? The president of the university, the donors, the coach clearly isn't in control. Who's
donors.
really in control of this?
Who's ever giving up that bread in control, bro, at the end of the day? Whoever giving up
bottom
that
line, it all comes down to the bottom line.
Whoever giving up that bread at the end of the day is the one that gives you the nod. Like, look, that's why. What's his name? Herman? Is he the head coach? Is that who's the head coach of Texas now?
No, he got fired.
I forget the guy's.
I forget who's the head coach now.
I forget his name, but
they got a new head coach. He gonna do whatever the donors say.
Yeah, bro, and it's like if he said, "You guys seen that fight song?" That coach gonna say, "Come to the locker room, yo, y'all better sing that fight song." Because at the end of the day, it's messed up with his bread, his livelihood as well. So I mean, yeah, especially with them big schools like Texas, bro. Them donors got that power, bro. And back to your point about
crazy
revenue. Like I said, when I was in the group chat, Ray brought up a good point, saying a lot of that bread goes to the facilities, the stadium, revamp, and all that stuff. So at the end of the day, that bread's not recycled the way we think it is.
It should be, like Toby said, especially for a place like Rutgers. You know, there's no reason you get into the Big Ten and your tuition is skyrocketing every year. You know what I mean? It wasn't, you know what I mean? You just be getting your ass kicked in the Big Ten for years. You know what I'm saying?
That's because them stupid niggas. Yes, Rutgers. If you are a donor at Rutgers or you a Rutgers student and you watching this, them niggas is stupid. They build new buildings every year and they increase your tuition.
They do. They do build a new building every year.
And them niggas, and you go to them buildings are nothing but hella space, hella statues, and like 6 classrooms. Nothing.
I love Rutgers though.
Hella bread, son. Rutgers Telefund. Don't ever call me for no bread, yo. For real. If you call me, yo, I'll really cuss y'all out. But nah, for real though. On a serious note,
I don't even want to talk about alumni reaching out. I don't even have that. That's a conversation. I want to have that conversation on the pod one day though.
What'd you say?
About alumni reaching out to people for bread and stuff like that. I want to have that we're gonna have that discussion one day because I feel a way about that. But that's the type of
immediately.
that's
immediately
another day, bro. But that's all I got for this episode, man. Y'all got anything else? Y'all want to discuss?
Y'all enjoy yourselves, man. Y'all be safe out there.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, appreciate you.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But nah, that's all I got, man. Episode 54, the Face of the Future pod. It's your boy Mills.
It's your boy Shan.
Your boy Mansa Moose.
Holla at y'all boys.